Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be on a new series, a series which I've not talked about on earlier. It is the Sinner series. Now there are actually 6 books in the series, out of which 4 have been released. This is the 4th book. Now the reason I'm making a video on this and I've not made on the previous ones because this is like the best one out of till now. And if you guys want a book on the other books in the series, just let me know. Now I think I won't read the give the review because like people are generally most importantly interested in the audiobooks, so I'll read the from the epilogue and the last bit a little, but I'll just read out the blurb of the book so that you get an idea about what actually the book entails with, and we'll start. My family rules the world, and I always get everything my heart desires. Okay, so there's one thing I can't have. Luca Cutroni. Rude, arrogant, and demanding as hell. He's the man I lust after and despise more than anything. After a wild birthday party where I clearly had too many drinks, I wake up next to Luca wearing his ring, a wedding ring. Who accidentally gets married to the head of the Italian mafia? Me, a Broadway princess. Our fathers insist we remain married for 6 months before we are allowed to consider an annulment. 6 months. I have to live with him, sleep next to him, be a wife to him. It's 50-50 whether we'll kill each other or give in to the lust. So this is the blurb, and this book actually has a lot of good scenes. Like there are a lot of twists. Like once you think that okay fine, now there'll be a happy ending, no, the next page you see okay there's another twist coming. So like this book has a lot of like action, mystery, and it's really fun. It's like both the characters are in love with each other, but they think the other person hates them. They go to Vegas to celebrate her birthday, get drunk, get married. The guy is not drunk, but he knows the girl is drunk and she wants to get married to him. She confesses her love to him. And he's like, this is the only chance I can get to marry her without getting into a lot of complications, and he goes with it. Later, he acts as if they both were drunk. They return home. From the synopsis, you already know their parents have said, like, just keep it for 6 months and then we'll see what happens. In these 6 months, a lot of things happen. She's kidnapped. She goes through a really rough patch. He stands by her side and actually confesses his love. And they take revenge. But then it's like 70% of the revenge, and you'll feel like, okay, fine, 30% will be taken the last book in the series. But then no. There's a happy ending, they get married and everything, it's all good. And then suddenly you see the twist, the 30% of the revenge is taken, which is like so unexpected. But also like you see that, oh, like 50 pages, 70 pages are left. So like you're expecting something but you do not know what to expect. So yeah.
Now I'll read the good part, like when they got married, like drunk wedding at Vegas. What happened was, it was her birthday. She was supposed to take her best friend Violet with her, and Victor was supposed to go babysitting them. Victor decided to invite Luca, and Luca obviously went because they both are in love with each other, but they both think that the other one hates them. And Luca is like, this trip is going to be my opportunity. And what happens is, Violet doesn't go. She has to cancel the last moment because of some reason. So it's Victor, Luca, and Maria. And Victor is not a party person, so he retires to go to the hotel. And it's only Luca and Maria. Maria is completely drunk, and she initiates the first kiss. And then she's like, let's go out. And then Luca takes her outside for a walk, just to clear her head and maybe talk to her some, like, just about what he feels or maybe something. And that's when she suggests, let's get married. So that's the part I'm going to read. Suddenly, Maria tries to pull away from me, her arms lifting as she points towards something across the street. Look! She squints as she reads, Traditional Elvis. She starts to laugh. A mob wedding. God, we have to do it. Grabbing hold of my hand, she pulls me towards the chapel. Before I know what's happening, Maria approaches a man dressed as Elvis and demands, Marry us! What? My gaze snaps to her flushed face because it's the last thing I expected to hear out of her mouth. Do you have a license? Elvis asks, not in the least surprised. This kind of thing must happen a lot here. I'm just about to tug her away from the damn chapel when disappointment tightens her features. Damn, there goes my only chance. My eyebrows lift as I keep staring at Maria, and the idea starts to grow on me as the speed of light. Elvis steps closer. The marriage bureau closes at midnight. He checks the time on the watch. You still have 40 minutes. Get a license and we're good to go. A smile splits over Maria's face as she stumbles into my side. Yes! Her fingers play over my abs, her eyes shining like stars as she looks up at me. Christ. My gaze flicks between Elvis and Maria, and when she takes hold of my hand and starts to drag me to the road to hail a cab, the thought solidifies in my mind. I can get away with marrying Maria tonight and blame it on us being drunk. Holy fucking shit. And I'm willing to go that far to make her mine? Yes. Without a fucking doubt, I'll do anything to make this woman mine. We climb into the cab and Maria excitedly tells the driver where to go. And then, I'm going to read their vows. They are so good. Like the Vegas vows I read. And then at the end, I'm also going to read for all of you the real wedding, like when they renew their vows. Those. Because the vows are so good in this book. Like, generally it's like, the writer skips that part and she's like, then they renewed their vows and like, the reception. But like, this book is detailed in this case and I just love it for that. So I'm going to read the vows. I clear my throat, then lock my eyes with Maria. You probably won't remember a word I say, but I'm going to say it anyway. My hand grips hers and our fingers intertwine. You're the only woman for me, Maria. I've waited patiently while building my empire, and now that I am the head of... I catch myself before saying Italian mafia in front of Elvis. Now that I am at the top, there's only one thing missing from my life. I step closer to her as I admit. You. My thumb brushes over the diamond on her finger. Everything I have, everything I am, is yours, Maria. After I have to help her push the ring on my finger, she places a hand against my jaw and stares up at me again. Do you feel it, Luca? What? She stumbles slightly into my chest and then leans against me. Her right hand gripping my shoulder, I wrap one arm around her to keep her standing. With her drunken bravery, she tells, The pull between us. My lips curve up. I definitely feel every sparkle and sizzle, baby. Her smile grows with satisfaction. Good. She lets out a chuckle. It's not just me. Grinning, I ask, Are those your vows? She shakes her head, tears starting to shine in her eyes. Her fingers brush over my cheeks and jaw, her eyes filling with a look I haven't seen before. I can't cook or do anything wives are supposed to do, but I love you, and I'm hoping that will be enough. Those words hit me like a tsunami. Hearing Maria say she loves me knocks the air from my lungs. I'm so fucking stunned, I can only stare at her. How the fuck did I not know? How did I miss it? It drives me insane. Maria continues. I've loved you forever. Unsteady on her feet, she leans heavier into me. Plus, I'm good in bed. Like, really good. I'm still recovering from the shock of hearing she loves me. When she chuckles, I do, binding herself to me for life. Slowly my mouth curves up, intense satisfaction flooding my chest. Jesus Christ, it's done. Maria actually went through with marrying me and said she loves me. Now I will actually read like the main vows because they are beautiful. When it's time for our vows, we turn to face each other. She flicks a tear away from her cheek, then says, I don't know why brides wear all makeup. We cried all off. We cried all off. There's a wave of chuckles from our family and friends. Maria lifts her gaze to mine and, overflowing with love, she says, I want you to promise me that every morning when I wake up, you'll be there beside me because I won't survive a day without you. She pauses as she sucks in a deep breath, her voice straining as she continues. I don't want the sun to rise without you. So could you please stay with me until we are old and we've lived every day of this life has given us? A tear trickled down her cheeks. And when our time comes, I want you to hold my hand because I am certain God negotiates and we can get another life together out of the man upstairs. While the guests chuckle again, my eyes rest softly on my wife, her vows filling every inch of my heart. 11 years ago, I fell in love with an Italian boy. I spent night after night weaving fairy tales around him. Another tear escapes my eyes, and Maria reaches up to brush it away. Thank you for giving me the fairy tale I never imagined I would have. We both breathe for a moment before I say, I promise to share every sunrise with you because no day would be worth living if I don't see your beautiful face. I take hold of her hand and holding it in both of mine, I swallow hard on the intensity of the moment because before I continue, I'll never let you go, Maria. I'll follow you to the highest heaven and the deepest hell. I'll fight all the gods and all the demons who might stand in our way. I'll burn down this earth and give you the universe. She gasps past the sob, tears falling from her chin to land at our feet. I love you with all that I am, my heart, my body, my entire being. You're the light of my life, and I promise to treasure, protect, and love you with all the days I've been given until my last breath. And then they exchange the ring, and now I'll read the epilogue. 3 months later. This is like after the wedding, the honeymoon, everything. 3 months later. Maria. Holy shit. I blink at the monitor, not processing what the doctor said. Luca is just as shocked as I am as he asks, Are you sure? Yes. Dr. Matthews points at the screen. There are 2 heartbeats. Twins. We're having twins. But I frown. There's no history of twins in our families. Not that I know of. You're having identical twins. One egg splits into 2. The odds are 1 in 250. Slowly, I look at Luca. His eyes meet mine, and a second later, his hands frame my face and he kisses the ever-loving shit out of me, not caring about the doctor. When he lifts his head, he whispers, Christ, 2 babies. We wanted 2 kids. I mention, not at once, but what the hell? We'll be fine, right? He kisses me again, that peppers the doctor with questions. We only stay for a couple of minutes longer before we leave, both silent as we walk to the G-Wagon. Once we're seated in the vehicle and Luca drives us home, I mutter, so much for taking turns getting up. Right. It looks like he's still in shock. I'm hiring a nanny. If they start crying at the same time, I'll have a panic attack. Who would I pick first? We'll get a nanny. Let's just process the news and then we'll plan everything. Unlike me, Luca needs time to absorb our new reality. Okay? I murmur, my right hand brushing over my baby bum. I have 2 little beans inside me. My lips curve up. If they both are boys, we can call them Lucian and Alexei. What if they're girls? I think for a moment. Alexis and shit. What sounds like Lucian? Lucinda? Hell no, I mutter. Lucy? Nope. Pulling out my phone, I start googling names. Oh, Lucien.
is the female form of Lucien. It means light. Also, Lucienne. Luca doesn't look impressed. Then he asks, "What about Elena and Isabel? We name boys after their fathers and girls after our mothers." A smile splits over my face. Yes, that would be great. It's a pity we couldn't find out the sex today, Luca mentions. I don't mind. I'll decorate the nursery in white and yellow, neutral colors. Luca pulls the G wagon into the parking bay, then turns off the engine. A minute later, when we walk into our apartment, he asks, "What do you want for lunch, babe?" Stupid question, I chuckle. Right. I can't stomach meat at the moment, and vegetables are something I've been craving like crazy. I take up my usual spot by the counter and watch my man prepare our food. Watching him cook is one of my favorite things to do, and of course, when he's in action mode, all badass and ruthless. Sigh. I need some tender loving care. Luca drops the knife and hauls me off the stool. My butt hits the counter and my legs are shoved open. What my wife wants, my wife gets. Luca. 6 months later. Maria's amazed me a lot over the past year. We've been married, but fuck. Having her carry our children and giving birth to them, I have no words. We're both staring at our baby boys, Lucien Victor Cutroni and Alexei Dmitry Cutroni. Watching our boys sleep, I'm filled with emotion so powerful, all I can do is go with the wave, constantly crashing in my chest. Now I know how my father felt when he looked at me for the first time. Unconditional love. I can't tell them apart, I mutter. I'm going to keep confusing their names. Maria points to the crib on the left. Lucien, and that's Alexei. How do you know? Lucien's birthmark is rounder than Alexei's. I stare at the faint brown mark on each of their forearm, and then I see the slight difference. Thank fuck. The door to the private hospital room opens and our parents come in. Our mothers head straight for the babies, sleeping, while my father comes to hug me. Uncle Alexei wraps Maria up in his arm. Congratulations, son. Dad murmurs as he pulls away, looking at me with pride. I rub a hand over my chest, the sharp ache of love hitting again as my eyes keep bouncing between my sons. It's overwhelming at first, Dad says. Yeah. At first, you watch them so they won't get hurt. Then you watch them in awe as they develop. Once they're adults, you watch them with respect as they become the men they are meant to be. I lock my eyes with my dad before yanking him again for a hug. What did you name them? What did you name them? My mom asks. I move closer so I can see their birthmark, then gesture at each of my sons. This is Lucien and that's Alexei. Both men are instantly overcome with emotions, looking with pride at their grandsons. We all dote over our newborns until it's time for their first feed. I clear the room out with the promise they can visit later again. Who do I feed first? Maria asks, nurse that came in to assist. You feed both of them at once. The nurse chuckles, picking up Lucien to place in Maria's right arm. When she has Alexei nestled against her as well, the nurse helps the boys to latch onto their mother. There we go, the nurse says before settling her gaze on me. Make sure your wife drinks loads of fuel while breastfeeding. She'll get very thirsty. I nod and step closer to the bedside table to pour a glass of water for Maria. Just say when you want a sip, baby. Uh-huh. She lets out a quivering breath, her eyes flitting between our sons as they drink from her. You okay? Just emotional. Leaning over her, I press a kiss to her temples, then hold the glass in front of her lips. Drink. I don't want them sucking you dry. She lets out a soft laugh. Pretty sure that's not possible. I watch as she drinks half the glass and then I place it down on the table. I brush her hand over my son's tiny heads, and sitting down on the side of the table, I lock my eyes with my wife. Thank you for making all my dreams come true. I pushed a couple of wild strands behind her ear. For choosing me? There wasn't much of a choice to be made. You were it for me. Careful not to bump the babies, I lean closer and steal a tender kiss from Maria. TMO, mi amo Jaylee. Love you too, mi amorito. And that's the end of the book.